One key feature of our software is the ability to set up and track preventive maintenance tasks. Now, these are recurring tasks that need to be done at a regular interval. For example, oil change, fuel filter needs to be replaced, air filter needs to be replaced, etc. The interval for these tasks, you can base them on a date. For example, it needs to be done every 30 days or every 3 months. Or you can base these on a meter, such as every so many miles or kilometers or hours, or you can even base it off of how much fuel is used. There's a couple of different ways you can add these tasks in. You can do it either individually per unit. So if you have some unique pieces of equipment with their own needs, you can add tasks to those. Or you can add what's called a PM schedule template or a preventive maintenance template. And that is essentially a list of recurring tasks that belong to, let's say, light trucks or generators, a group of equipment that share the same needs. So I'm going to walk you through both ways of doing it. So I've got a truck here that I just added, and I want to add some individual tasks to it. So to do so, I'm going to click on the Action button on the right-hand side, and I'm going to click on Task Setup. And here it gives me a blank screen. I'm on the Preventive Maintenance tab. If I want to add a new recurring task for this, I can hit the Add button on the top. I can name the service whatever I'd like. So for example, we can do oil change. And then I have some frequencies that I can choose from. So we can set it for date if we wanted to. Let's say every 90 days. And then for mileage, we can say do every, let's say 5,000 miles. And we'll ignore fuel usage for now. Now, what does it mean when I have both of these checked? So whichever one comes up first will trigger the do notification. So what that means is that if the equipment goes past 5,000 miles first, before the 90 days is up, then the oil change needs to be done. If, let's say, the truck is sitting for a while and never makes it to the 5,000 miles and 3 months go by, we're going to change the oil anyway. So it's up to you how you set these up. Of course, each task is going to be different, but we'll go ahead and use this as an example. There's other tabs here, let's say for parts. So if you use the same exact, let's say oil filter, every time you do this task on this truck, you can add it here, and that way it's automatically added for you when you do the maintenance. Labor, you can specify how long it takes. Instructions, this is more for saying, okay, whenever you do this task, these things need to happen. So if it's a complex task with a lot of different steps, you might want to add them here. And then we have some extra options on advanced, like how long for labor, things like that. So now I have everything set up the way I want. We can go ahead and click Save. It adds it to my list. It has the name of the service, the frequency that I set up, the last time it was done, and the next time it thinks it needs to be done. If I double click on the task, it brings me back to the edit screen, and you'll see these last completed items. So let's say this is a new truck that I just added to my system, and I know that the oil change was done at 60,000 miles, and it was done 2 months ago. We can save it. So now the system knows that, hey, it's at 65,000 miles now. It was done at 60,000. Now we've hit that 5,000 mile limit, so it needs to be done. On the left-hand side, for my truck, you can see that there's a red highlight, and that tells us that there's a task that's overdue. If I hit the plus sign, I can see the task name. Now, let's say we want to add a schedule, a PM schedule template with a list of tasks for all of our trucks. So to do that, we'll click on Setup at the very top. We'll go to PM Schedule Templates. And then on the left-hand side, we'll see a list of our template names, the ones we have set up. And then whichever one is highlighted, on the right-hand side, you can see a list of services. So for this example, we're just going to add a new one. So I clicked the blue New button on the bottom left. The schedule name, we'll just call this Light Trucks. Now remember when we added that individual task, it had different frequencies in there that you can check or uncheck. So we can actually choose those ahead of time here. We can leave the default. I have it set to date and mileage. That's good enough for now, but know that you can go in here and if you needed to, you can do hours and miles, or you can do just hours. You can also uncheck the date. So it's customizable to what you need. On the right hand side, I don't have any services yet, but we can go ahead and add a few. So to do that, I'll hit the New button directly underneath the empty box. And this is the same screen that we came across earlier, so we can type in any kind of service name. So we'll say air filter. And this time, mileage, we'll just set it to, let's say 10,000. Now, something that we didn't go over here that we can go over real fast, on the right-hand side, there's this notify in advance. What this means is, let's say if I do 500 here, if the equipment hasn't quite reached 10,000 miles, let's say it's at 95, 9600, then the system will alert me still and say, hey, this task needs to be done pretty soon. It's not necessarily overdue, but it does need to be due soon. And then we can add a few other tasks here. And we can do the same thing. So we can stick with these two for now. So I've got two tasks on my maintenance schedule template. I'll close this out. So I want to apply that template to my truck that I made. So to do that, I'm going to edit the truck, which I can do by double clicking. On the edit screen, on the top right, there's a section for PM schedule template, and it's letting me know that I do not have a schedule right now. So I can hit the select button, and it gives me that list of templates to choose from. So I see my light trucks in here, so I can click on it, and it's got my services on the right hand side. Those are the ones I want. So I'll hit OK. The name has changed. Now I can click on Save on the bottom to save my changes. So now my truck has those tasks. To look at them, you can actually hit the Action button on the right-hand side. Go to Task Setup. And notice that I've got 3 tasks in here. So I've got the initial one that I made that's just for this equipment. And then I have 2 other tasks that came from my preventive maintenance template. So you can mix and match. It doesn't have to be all unique tasks or all maintenance tasks. You can do a mix of both. So it's very flexible in that respect. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention here. There is a last service date and a last service mileage. So just like with my oil change, I can tell the system the last time these services were done. So let's say my air filter, I can say it was done at 30,000 miles. And notice that I get some red here on the left and also on my next due column. If I close this out, if I hit the plus sign now, I've got a few different services that need to be done. So now let's say that we want to complete these tasks so that way they're no longer due. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and issue a work order, and depending on your version, it might say record maintenance here. And I'm going to say generate. So I've got my 2 tasks here. I'm going to go ahead and just say we're going to complete it. We'll say it's at 70,000. The system updated the equipment list, and now the red highlight and the plus sign are both gone. This means that there are no longer any maintenance tasks that are overdue or need our attention. Thanks for watching. You can find more video tutorials on our YouTube channel Or for more information about our software products, you can visit our website at mtcpro.com.